The year is 1994. You walk into the arcade, just like you do every Saturday evening. You came with 4 quarters and plan to spend your entire evening there. You walk past the Street Fighter II cabinets and the Pac-Mans because you want something different today. And then you see it. Off in the corner. Past that one gross kid who's always sitting there eating a bag of Cheetos. There it was. Tekken. Your eyes didn't know what to make of it, so cautiously you approached. And as you approached, you couldn't help but notice the gameplay, the visuals, the music. All of it made sense immediately, and so you played it, and spent all 4 quarters on it, and only made it to level 3 because you were really bad and had to use all your continues. You then return home. Then, Christmas, 1995. Your mother hands you a Christmas present about the size of a small CD case. You take it cautiously. Slowly, you unpeel the wrapping paper that surrounds your gift. And only then do you see it. Tekken for the PlayStation 1. And you knew from that moment forward, your life would never be the same. Released in arcades in 1994 and later ported to the PlayStation 1 in late 1995, Tekken was met with high review scores all around, and would quickly be met with the Guinness World Record for the first PlayStation game to sell over 1 million copies, which would help cement Tekken as one of the most iconic and beloved fighting game franchises of all time. Now, to help you understand why it earned such high praise, we must segue into one of the most critical aspects of all fighting games, and that of course is plot. Heihachi Mishima is the leader of the powerful military organization known as the Mishima Zaibatsu, also known as the Mishima Financial Group. Heihachi has a spiky-haired son by the name of Kazuya. Heihachi decides he wants to see if Kazuya is strong enough to become his successor, so he beats him, then proceeds to throw him off a cliff. Kazuya survives the fall thanks to his inner demonic power and vows revenge against Heihachi. 21 years later, Heihachi is holding a large-scale martial arts tournament to gather strong combatants to fight in his army. Kazuya sees the tournament as an opportunity to kill and overthrow his father as the leader of the Mishima Zaibatsu. And so begins the first King of Iron Fist tournament, and thus, Tekken. Despite being the first game in the series, Tekken 1 actually controls pretty similarly to what people have come to expect from Tekken. Your goal being to lower your opponent's health bar to 0, or have the most amount of health when the time runs out. You can move forward, back, jump, crouch, and you can block. You have 4 attack buttons, being the left and right punch button, and the left and right kick buttons, all of which can be used in different combinations for character-specific attacks and throws. When you get knocked down, you have multiple ways of getting back up, such as standing, rolling back, rolling forward, diving, or springing up feet first. You start by picking one of the 8 core roster members that would become mainstay characters in the series. Kazuya, the revenge-seeking heir to the Mishima Zaibatsu. Paul Phoenix, the photogenic biker. Michelle, the girl who likes buffaloes. Jack, the top-heavy robot. La, the overzealous Bruce Lee impersonator. King, the traditional Mexican wrestler. Yoshimitsu, the demon that resides under your bed. And Nina, the blonde. After choosing your character, you go through arcade mode where your goal is to win 8 fights against the other members of the roster before reaching Heihachi and defeating him to win the tournament. If at any point you lose, you can just continue and try again. After winning, you're met with your character's unique ending, and you're able to put in your initials and save your score. And that's it. Besides arcade mode, you have a 2-player versus mode, so you can play against a friend, and then you have settings. But when it comes to actual modes that you can play, Tekken's not going to be able to deliver very much. Now thankfully, despite being the first game in the series, the game is actually still pretty fun to play. The characters feel pretty different from one another, and have many moves that they're known for. Kazuya has Wind God Fist, Paul has his Death Fist, and Nina has the ability to press every button on the controller and stuff just kinda happens. And the game feels pretty responsive. The only thing that doesn't feel great is waking up off the ground. Most of the time it's fine, but sometimes your character just doesn't feel like getting up, so you just get sauced on. But overall, it's a pretty enjoyable experience. Oh my god, what is that? So now would be a good time to mention that this game actually has 10 unlockable characters, exclusive to the console port. 8 of which being unlocked every time you beat arcade mode with one of the base roster members, being Anna, Nina's sister, Armor King, King but with Edge, Ganryu, Asumo, Kuma, the living freak of nature, Lee, Mr. Excellence, Kunamitsu, the ninja, Wang, the Wang, and P-Jack, who's like Jack, but disfigured. And then there's Heihachi himself, who's unlocked by beating arcade mode in under 5 minutes and 30 seconds with any base roster member and by not using continues. Which, if that sounds hard, you can literally just set the game difficulty to easy and 1 round per match, and it's barely an inconvenience. Not that I did that. What's cool about playing Heihachi is when you're doing an arcade mode run with him, all the characters you fight are specifically the unlockable characters, and the final fight is against Kazuya in his devil form. Which brings us to our last unlockable character, Devil. So I forgot to mention the first thing you see when you boot up Tekken 1 on the PlayStation 1 isn't actually anything Tekken related. It's Galaga. Not only is it kinda neat that they just put a Galaga minigame into Tekken, but it's actually how you unlock Kazuya's devil form. In order to get it, you have to clear all 8 levels without missing a single target. And while that's cool, Devil is just pretty much a costume swap for Kazuya with no new attacks, but it's still pretty cool. Which, now that I've said that, I have to point out that most of the unlockable characters share moves with the base roster. Lee has some of Law's moves, Wing has some of Michelle's, Anna has some of Nina's, and the list goes on. Regardless, more characters is more characters, so I think it's better that they're here than not here. With all that being said, the only thing really left is the endings. After 21 years, Kazuya was finally able to get his revenge against Heihachi, taking over the Mishima Zaibatsu, and of course, throwing him off a cliff. And for once in his life, gracing the world with his innocent smile. While Kazuya's is the only ending really relevant to the main story of Tekken, there's some pretty other good ones like King, who uses his winnings to fund an orphanage, and Paul, who punches a wall. All in all, Tekken 1 is still a good game that gets overshadowed by everything that comes after it, which rightfully so, as all the later games improve upon the foundation it lays down. The only question is, where is Tekken supposed to go now without Heihachi? Now that he's dead, what is Kazuya going to do with himself now? Hello? Wait, so he's not dead? Oh, he's the protagonist now. But he was like 52, how do you survive being thrown off a cliff?
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.